Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be a high-level money making guide, so I'm going to be showing you guys a few high-level money makers that can make you anywhere from 10 to 20 mil per hour. If you guys do enjoy the video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more RuneScape 3 content, and I hope you guys enjoy. So starting off with our first money making method, we have bossing. So I didn't want to put one boss in particular, I wanted to group them all together because a lot of different bosses are really profitable right now, especially Araxi, Nex, Vindicta, ED1, and ED2. These are probably my favorite for making money right now. Now, of course, there are some highly recommended requirements for this, including overloads, curses. Tier 80 plus gear is really necessary if you're looking to get some good kill times on these bosses and make up to 10 to 20 mil per hour, as well as 90 plus combat stats. Now, if you don't already have these stats, you won't be able to get 10 to 20 mil per hour, but I would highly recommend you guys work towards these requirements because you kind of do need them to make this much money per hour when bossing. But if you don't have them, you can still do some of these bosses, however, the GP per hour will be much lower. So I just wanted to go over some of the notable bosses, starting off with the easiest one, which is Vindicta. You can make about 5 to 15 mil per hour, depending on your kill times. If you are more of a mid-level player struggling to get kills, you'll make around 5 mil per hour. However, if you are a high-level player getting about 1 minute kill times, meaning you'll kill 50 to 60 Vindicta per hour, you can make up to 15 mil per hour here. This is a really fun boss as well. It does have some mechanics that you do need to watch out for and sort of deal with, which does make it a little bit more fun than other bosses. However, it will become repetitive over time. The nice thing about this boss, though, is that the unique drops, they are worth a lot because of the components that you can get from them. So it is some pretty consistent money here in terms of getting those unique drops. Araxi is another really profitable boss right now, especially because of the onyxes and the scythe going up in price by a lot recently. Araxi is also my all-time favorite boss to kill. Personally, I find Araxi a really fun boss because it does have the 3 different paths, so you are always dealing with different mechanics depending on the day. However, the money per hour is exceptional. You have a 1 in 40 chance at getting a spider leg. You need 3 of them to create a full spider leg. And then this is worth about 150 mil just off of the spider leg. If you get the Araxi Fang to make the scythe, it's about 280 mil there. And then, of course, since the onyxes have increased in price, you will make a lot of money off of that. You have a 1 in 17 drop chance at just getting an uncut onyx, and you get 2 of them every time, so that's about a 7 or 8 mil drop just if you get that 1 in 17 chance at getting an uncut onyx. Next is another really great boss in terms of GP per hour. Personally, I really enjoy doing duo Nex. However, you can do solo and get some pretty good kills per hour. You can make about 15 to 20 mil per hour at Nex. It does drop a lot of the ancient equipment, including Pernix, Virtus, and Torva. You should have about a 1 in 21 drop chance at getting one of these unique items, and you will be making about 1 mil on average per kill at this boss, which is really great, and meaning the GP per hour that you will get does depend heavily on your kill times. Elite Dungeons 1 is another really great boss in terms of money right now, especially if you can do this boss as a solo player. While completing Elite Dungeon 1 as a solo player, you will expect to get 4 to 8 guaranteed ancient scales every time you do this, and ancient scales are worth about 900k up to 1 mil right now for each scale, so that's an easy 4 to 8 mil just per run that you can get from completing this dungeon. You could be able to complete at least 2 of them per hour, meaning the GP per hour is really insane right now at about 10 to 20 mil per hour, depending on how efficient you are at this boss. Now, if you are a high-level player, bossing really is the best way to make money in the game, especially since all of the prices are exceptionally high right now. Just prices on all of these unique drops from bosses, they are really high, probably because of the Raksha release and just all of the new updates that we have had coming into the game. But bossing is the best way to make money as a high-level player or a maxed player, and it is how you basically make insane amounts of money. Right now, bossing is exceptional, and these are just a few bosses that I did want to highlight. However, there are a ton of other ones, including AOD, Solak, Virago, Rise of the Six. There's just so many bosses that are worth a ton of money. You can make well over 20 mil per hour at them. The next money-making method is killing living wyverns. You can make about 10 mil per hour killing these, and the only requirement is level 96 Slayer. You also really want Wormfire potions as well as anti-poison when killing these creatures. They do have a few mechanics that I will be going over, so just definitely pay attention to that. But first off, we're going to look at the equipment that I like to bring when killing living wyverns. So as you can see, I prefer to use melee when killing living wyverns. I use my masterwork as well as my cinderbane gloves because they can actually be poisoned, so it does increase your DPS a little bit. I also have the Drygores. I highly recommend you guys use dual wield weapons. You don't want to use a scythe because then you aren't in melee range, and wyverns can hit with all 3 combat styles, so you will want to make sure you are always within melee range so that they will primarily just use melee, which is why I am using the Drygores. As you can see, I also have the Wyvern spikes in my ranged ammunition slot. That's because they do drop these, and it basically just does save a inventory slot. I also have the Vampirism aura, as well as a Scrimshaw of Vampirism, just for the extra health, since they do deal a lot of damage and you will be taking a lot. As for the inventory setup, I basically am using a Holy Overload with the Prayer Potions. You also really want that Wormfire Potion and the Anti-Poisons. Those are going to be really important. Then I fill the rest of my inventory with some food, and I also bring a Yak or a Pack Mammoth with food as well, since you will be taking a lot. I like using my magic notepaper to note the wyvern bones. It's a lot better than the pack yak scroll, since I do find you will run out of summoning points if you are using that option. So first off, living wyverns are located in the Asgardian Ice Dungeon. Now, I do want to talk about the mechanics of the actual fight. As I mentioned, you do want to stay within melee distance at all times and protect melee. You will also want to make sure that you do have your Wormfire Potion active at all times, as well as the anti-poison. You are still going to be taking some poison damage, even though you do have your anti-poison. However, it is going to be quite less. Also, as mentioned, living wyverns will attack with all 3 combat styles, so make sure you are within melee distance. As I said, I like using Drygores because you're always within melee distance when attacking them. If you are using a scythe or a halberd type weapon, you will need to make sure that you walk in melee distance, since with these type weapons you can actually attack them outside of melee distance. So just make sure you are right beside them so that they will only attack with melee. That way you can just use protect from melee. Now, another mechanic that you will need to watch out for is the cold mechanic. So as you can see in your debuff bar, you will have a cold meter that is slowly going up. Right now it's at 39%, and it will increase slowly. So in order to deal with this mechanic, you will need to light one of the bonfires in the room and stand near it for the cold meter to decrease. If it does get too high, you will be taking extra damage from the living wyvern poison. So just make sure it doesn't get too high. I would like to keep it usually below 70%, and then you should be fine with that. It isn't really a huge priority though, so if you are just at 50%, you can wait and go to 70% before lowering the meter. Aside from that, those are basically all the mechanics for living wyverns. They do have a lot of mechanics that you do need to deal with, so it might be a bit difficult with your first few kills. However, trust me, they are a pretty easy creature once you get the hang of it, and you can make 10 mil per hour from these creatures. They have some really good unique drops like the wyvern crossbow, and then of course they have their wyvern bones, which they will always drop. Now moving on to the next money-making method, we have killing corrupted scorpions, which is a really great money-making method right now. You can make up to 10 mil per hour doing it. That is if you are on task. If you are off task, you should make around 7 mil per hour doing this method. And the only requirements include 88 Slayer in Icathrin's Little Helper. So that's just to access the Sophanum Slayer dungeon. So corrupted scorpions are the weakest corrupted creature in the Slayer dungeon, which means you will be able to kill a lot of them per hour. This is a AFK money-making method as well. It is one of the better ones since Keys to the Crossing are priced so high right now. So basically this method is really simple. You're going to want to use your melee gear with your Noxious Scythe. If you don't have a Noxious Scythe, I would recommend using magic instead. And you're going to want to use your AoE abilities. So for example, with melee, if you can see on my action bar, I have Meteor Strike followed by Hurricane, Smash, and Cleave. Those are all AoE abilities. If you do decide to use magic, you will want your abilities such as Dragon Breath, Chain, as well as Corruption Blast. But you really just want to focus on having all of your AoEs at the beginning of your action bar. For this method, you are going to want to use aggression potions as well. So as you can see, I'm just using an aggression potion and it is fully AFK. I have my action bar set on Revolution Plus and Auto Retaliate is on. I am using the Vampirism aura. I find this is a really helpful aura at corrupted creatures, just so you can maintain some extra health. It makes this method fully AFK, especially since the corrupted creatures are a fairly low level creature. So this method is really great. You can make 10 mil per hour. It's really AFK. The only thing you will need to watch out for are the keys to the crossing drops. They will drop on the floor and your chest won't collect those, and that's where you are going to be making most of this money. Based on my calculations, I was killing about 900 of these per hour, meaning if you are on task, you should make over 10 mil per hour, 10 to 11, depending on how lucky you are with the keys to the crossing. But the profit is mostly going to come from the keys to the crossing. If you are on task, the drop rate is 1 in 75. If you're off task, it's 1 in 400. So the GP per hour is going to be quite a bit less if you are off task. However, it should be right around 7 mil per hour still. Anyway, that is basically it for this method. You don't even need any curses or even overloads for this method as long as you have the Vampirism aura. It's a pretty decent gear and a good two-handed weapon that can deal some good AoE ability damage. This method is really simple and pretty AFK, accessible to a lot of players, and can make a lot of money. So I would say that this is probably one of the better high-level money-making methods in the game right now. Anyway guys, those are all the methods I have for you in today's video. I really hope you guys did enjoy. If you have any questions about any of the methods mentioned in this video, let me know and I will do my best to help you guys out. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you all in the next one. Peace.